Now, I have a rule of thumb on this show, and me and Bonte are usually in lockstep on this, all right? But the boss is away, as in Bonte, because, obviously he thinks he's the big boss man here. So normally my theory is we sink in the bathtub. We sit in the water. We let the lazy river take us down the river slowly throughout the regular season. I don't want to think about what happens in the offseason.
Right.
I don't want to think about what happens a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, because I feel like it's unfair, like to the teams themselves. It's unfair to the audience, and then B, also like, dude, I am in this for the games.
Right.
I love the games. I know people love the transactions and the rumors and the gossips. I like breaking down the games themselves. I think you agree with me, right?
Oh yeah. It is nice to just take it game by game. It's very hard to do that.
Exactly.
But it is nice to just sit back. Hey, this is what they are right now. Everything doesn't have to be let's look towards the future.
Exactly. And I think too much time, the media in general, we do, let's talk about 8 months from now free agency radio.
Yeah.
Like, we do that a lot. So yesterday I asked everyone, so I'm going to suspend my rule for today. For today alone, I'm going to suspend my rule. And we're going to do shameless shout-outs in about 20 minutes. So if you have somebody, a business, a person, a family member, a team that you want to shout out, please get in. And I want to hear from the audience on the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Yesterday, you guys told me why you think they're going to win it all, which I'm with you. They've earned the benefit of the doubt. Why the Warriors can win the championship now. What happens if they don't? What do you do? All right, what do you do? Like, think about this. Heading into next year, these are some of your contracts. Curry's making $52 million next year. Klay is in the final year of a $43 million deal. Jordan Poole's money jumps up to $28 million. Draymond's got that option. So you can either, he can opt in, he can opt out, you can extend him. I don't know. Maybe he leaves. Maybe it's a sign and trade. Not sure. Wiggins' money goes down to $24 million. You got Peyton. You got Looney. You got Kuminga. DiVincenzo's a free agent. So I just rattled off the top players, right? The top guys on anybody's list, all right? And then if you look just a year past that, the only guys that are under contract, Curry, Poole, Wiggins. So 2 years from right now,
wow.
Curry, Poole, Wiggins are really the only guys you have under contract. So let's say, hypothetically, Golden State goes through the playoffs right now, and they don't win the championship. What do you do? What do you do with Draymond? What do you want to do with Draymond? What do you do with Klay? What do you want to do with Klay? Do you trade away Jordan Poole? Do you think about moving Andrew Wiggins? Like, what are the moves that you would think about? Does it matter how they lost? Does it matter where they lost? Because that's a lot. Oh, they've never lost in the Western Conference Finals. They've never lost in the Western Conference as a core. Let's say they lose in the second round. Now what do you do?
Right.
I'm serious. I'm really curious what Warrior fans want to do. Now, again, I normally I don't want to think about next year. I don't want to think about this because we did that with Durant, and it robbed me of the passion of the season. And it pissed me off that we weren't focused on watching how great that basketball was. But right now, we got an All-Star game weekend this weekend. Think about what happens if they don't win it all. Who do you want back and who do you not want back?
To answer your question in terms of does it matter how they lose, I actually don't think it does. I don't think it matters if they lose in the play-in or if they lose in the finals. To me, that makes no difference.
Really? So if they lose in the finals, because I want to stop there.
Yeah.
They lose in the finals, it's different than not making the playoffs?
I would say going in, it doesn't change because I believe the reason they probably would have lost would have been similar reasons. So
keep going.
moving into that next year, whatever those reasons ended up being, whether it's age, whether it's the size thing, one of those bugaboos that have happened throughout the season would come back to bite the Warriors. That's why it's just a matter of when they do bite them. Moving into next year, I think you really need to figure out this Klay restructure thing because
What do you mean?
You cannot. I don't know that you can pay him $43 million.
Well, he's going to make $43 million next year.
Yeah.
You're talking about after that.
I'm talking about whatever restructure you need to do.
You can't restructure the current money. The money that he is owed is the money he'll be getting. You can extend him for less money the way they did with Wiggins. So like Wiggins makes $35 million now.
Yes.
He's going to drop down to 24 next year on the extension.
And then at that point, you have Klay in what? Klay's 30 now, 31?
Right now, Klay Thompson. Keep going.
So you really got to figure out that situation.
He's 33 right now.
He's 33.
He will be 34 next year.
I don't
in
even
the
know
final year of his contract.
I don't even know what that extension looks like.
I don't either.
I have no clue.
I do want to keep Clay around if he's willing to take a dramatic pay cut.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, like if he could be a stretch 4, like or willing to be that stretch 3, stretch 4, and obviously take money down. Because if you're going to tell me that James Wiseman's money is part of the many reasons why we traded him away, Clay, I got to look at some of your money. You got to go down a little bit.
And I'd like to think that after this next year of him getting the $43 million, I would like to think Clay would say, yeah, I would definitely take a pay cut to stay with the Warriors.
We're going to have David Sampson on in a half an hour, and David Sampson ran the Marlins. He said the number one thing in every sport that owners hate more than anything, it's the biggest issue in sports. Do you know what it is? Paying a player who's not playing. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Steven Strasburg's making $180 million right now for the Nationals.
Yikes.
That is dead weight. The Warriors, and it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him.
No.
But they paid him $80 million for 2 seasons where he didn't play. How difficult was that for the Warriors on a business aspect, a player aspect, a team personnel aspect on a nightly basis? It's very difficult.
Right.
I'm not mad at Clay. That's part of sports. Guys get hurt and stuff. But that's the hardest thing for NBA owners, Major League Baseball owners, is to pay someone not to play.
Right. They would rather you go out and just stink.
Yes.
And at least say, all right, maybe some kind of hope. There's no hope if you're not even on the floor.
Yes.
I would want, getting back to this next year, I would want Draymond I would hope Draymond would opt in.
So if they do not win a championship right now, you want Draymond Green to opt in and stay with the team one more year and go through another year of what we're going through right now, where it's like, I don't know. I might be here. I might not.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is my take on it. I don't know that the Warriors are going to win it this year. It doesn't look great. But you just said you have the Clay situation, you have the Draymond situation, and obviously Steph is Steph. To me, everybody is feeling like what happened with the whole Last Dance thing is that, let's be honest, last year's championship was a bit of a surprise to a lot of people. That's why the Warriors were so petty. This year, they've had the championship hangover. Things got started late. They were overseas. So things have been different in that regard. You go into next season knowing that Draymond is up, took that extension, and he is quote unquote done after this year, depending on what he wants to do. Clay, both those contracts are up. You still got Steph. Those are the big 3. You go into next season, and it is officially from day one the Last Dance. That's why I would keep Draymond around. This weird hybrid, this Last Dance got kind of bungled because they won last year.
But isn't, like, when we say Last Dance, just bear with me here. Last Dance insinuates that we're trying to win a championship. 2 years from now, I do not think that core is leading you to a championship. They're barely doing it now.
I'm talking about the 23-24 season. You're talking about I'm talking about next year.
I mean, they're at 500 right now, and that's the core.
But I'm saying I
don't think it's good enough.
No, I don't know that it's good enough, but I do think that the championship changed how this season happened. If they lose, I don't know what the Warriors' record is right now if they lose to the Grizzlies last season.
That I will subscribe to that in terms of motivation.
Exactly.
Nightly
It would be completely
sense of
different.
urgency. I agree with that.
So they're well fed.
I agree with.
They're well fed this year. They start late. They're trying to figure everything out. If they lose, if they win the championship, then honestly, nothing really matters to me. Because now you got one more than LeBron. A lot of good things happen if you
tie Kareem and you tie Magic,
and Kobe. So you get the 5. I don't really care what happens. If
Duncan.
you lose, then I would say you go into this next season. I think that the big 3 have that conversation on that same position on the plane where they sit every time and they say, let's go one more.
So 888-957-9570. Where's our audience today when it comes to the Warriors? Like, I want to know where you're at. Like, what if they don't win it all this year? Do you want Draymond back? Do you want him to opt in or do you want him to opt out? What do you want to do here? Do you try to do exactly what they did with Wiggins, with Klay Thompson, where you extend him to a lesser deal for more years? Do you do something like that? What do you do with Jordan Poole? Let's say they lose. Jordan Poole is now, because one of their big problems right now is they couldn't really trade Jordan at the deadline because he's making only a couple $1 million.
Right.
Next year when his money kicks up, and if they end up losing, do we really want a backcourt of Steph Curry and Jordan Poole defensively?
Here's the issue with
when he's such a desirable piece league-wide.
I think it's very similar it's not the same as the Debo conversation, but I do think his value is really high right now.
I agree.
I do think his value is very high right now, and you can get a lot back for him. Maybe even some picks if you're looking towards that future. I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Probably more immediate to help Steph. I did a poll a couple days ago because I was just curious. I count Jordan Poole as this new wave of guards. So I said
Tyler Hero.
So I said Tyler Hero, Darius Garland, Anthony Simons, Jordan Poole, all those guys.
I think
Tyrese Maxey as well.
Maxey's the only guy on that list that you're referencing who plays defense. The only guy.
I would go Tyrese Maxey, and it is tough between Jordan Poole and Darius Garland.
I think Jordan Poole's offensive game is way better than Maxey's, but Maxey also gets way more run. Like consistent, he knows every night what he's doing. Like he knows what the ball isn't in his hands as much once they've acquired James Harden. Simons is overrated as hell to me. No, I think he got paid way too prematurely.
Sure.
He's a niche player. Tyler Hero, I think Jordan Poole and him are very comparable to each other. I'm a Warrior fan. I'm leading JP, and I've seen him now do it on a championship team, even though Tyler, as a rookie, was the main playmaker in the half court for that team in the finals. And then the other guy, Garland, I like Garland.
He's nice.
But he hasn't done anything in the playoffs.
Well, no, not yet. He's got Donovan Mitchell now. He needed a ride. He's got his ride or die.
But he's also another guy. Now with Mitchell, it's going to be interesting to see what that dynamic looks in closing games of playoff games.
That's true. I think he'll defer to Mitchell. So I guess my point is it's hard to track. And on one hand, I feel that Jordan Poole is a unique type of player.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I don't know if, in terms of trading Jordan Poole, I don't know if I see Jordan Poole as a cornerstone or the guy that is going to be the reason that you have the Larry O'Brien. I don't know. And he's young. He's very young.
Yeah.
But I do not know if he is going to be that guy for you or if he's just going to be a bucket getter. It's very hard to tell. But I guess you got to make that decision now while the value's high.
We do this thing on defense, and I'm with people. Like, Jordan Poole's defense frustrates the absolute crap out of me.
Yeah. All
right, 7 minutes. We're going to do shameless shout-outs. So line them up, 888-957-9570. How many young players are playing great defense who are great scorers?
I've been on this. I've been on this. It's the same idea. Luka doesn't play any defense.
None.
Ja Morant, he can get some blocks. He can jump.
Young?
They do not play defense.
None.
But, and I don't know, we're only dealing with Bay Area fans. Maybe those guys, their fans complain about their defense too. I don't know. Probably not Luka.
I think defense is a topic discussed by every fan base in America right now because no one's team's playing any defense.
But
league is scoring is way up.
Yes.
50-point games are way up. No one's playing defense.
And I think part of that is the guys that we just named are the next level of star.
Yeah.
And so
the
it's
come-up guys, as I said.
Right. And Jordan Poole is trying to get there, but he's not there yet. So I would be tempted to at least take some phone calls.
Yes.
I would take some phone calls because if you don't think Jordan Poole is going to be a full-on cornerstone or the captain of your squad one day, I do think there are a good amount of bucket getters out there. You can trade Jordan Poole, get back a bunch of assets, and you can get you a bucket getter.
All right, so they don't win the championship this year. 888-957-9570. What do you do? What do you do with Poole? What do you do with Wiggins? We haven't talked about Wiggins. I think the biggest year-to-year drop-off right now is Wiggins last year to Wiggins this year.
You can't move Wiggins.
Just hear me out, all right? You got Draymond Green opting in, opting out. What do you do with Klay Thompson? Like, what do you do, Warrior fans? I'm going to tell you what I do, and I want your opinion. I think it's Steph Curry, and everything else is on the table. I'm not saying I'm trading Klay because I don't think anyone's taking his money, but I'm keeping Steph Curry. Everything else is on the table.
No untouchables besides Steph.
Well, what happens with Giannis? What happens if Giannis bows out as well? Is Giannis really going to be a Milwaukee Buck for life? Are you sure about that? I'll go sniffing around there the way the New England Patriots are sniffing around Debo. All right? What's happening with Zion? I know he can't stay on the floor. I believe me, I'm well aware he can't stay on the floor. But when he plays, oh my God, is he incredible. What's happening there?
What's happening with LeBron? I got you.
Get off LeBron.
But
you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You get where I'm going with this? Like, if we're only in on trying to win a championship with Steph Curry, like, to me, everything needs to be on the table. But Steph, and then everything else on the table. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in the Kobe zone, meaning you're celebrating these three guys or two of these guys or whatever it is, and we're not probably winning anything.
But how much say do you give to Steph, though? Because just like the reports, the three-man band, this is pre-punch, but the three-man band, they want to ride into the sunset. we don't know what the sunset is.
If Draymond
and I'm air
opts
quoting
out,
here.
if Draymond opts out, he's taking care of that decision for you.
Yes, agreed.
Which I believe. Again, I don't pretend to be connected. I'm not Tim Kawakami.
You have sources?
I don't have any sources.
You
This
got
is
some
just
sources.
me reading the room. Okay, Draymond's out of here. Come on, everybody. He's doing exactly what Kevin Durant did.
Do you think it's Lakers?
I don't know if it's Lakers. I don't know. I don't know if it's Lakers. I don't know where. I just think he's out of here. He's opting out 100%. Whether that's a sign and trade because the team that is acquiring him has to, move some pieces or whatever, or whether he just outright signs with someone else. I think Draymond is out of here. This is it for him here. Now,
Wow.
and I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the time is now. And
Well,
I think
it's kind of his fault.
Well,
It's a mix. It's a mix.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think Clay's got the one more year, and then it's how negotiable can Clay be?
I'm with you here. I don't think anybody is 1,000% untouchable besides Steph. I would agree with you there. I think it matters how much say you want to give to Steph and what Steph thinks. We talked about how when you have that friend that can be a bit annoying and put you in different situations, a la Draymond Green at time, but you love him and he's been your guy and you've been boys. Where is Steph at with that? Is that still how you feel? Do you still believe?
Look at their reluctance to execute a trade with Kevin Durant, to hold on to what they had. Do you have buyer's remorse today for not pulling the trigger?
No.
I do. You're telling me this team acquiring Kevin Durant right now, you wouldn't look at them different?
Wait, you're saying if they didn't acquire?
What I'm saying, them being reluctant to just we got to run this back with our team in the summer when there was an opportunity when Kevin Durant said, I want out of Brooklyn. And I don't even know how realistic it was that the Warriors could have made an offer that would have appeased them. I don't even know. I don't even know if he wanted to come back. But what I'm saying is this morning, don't you think the Warriors look back and go, oh, man, maybe we should have made that deal?
Yeah.
I think they do. Especially when that guy's in Phoenix.
Well, specifically now, but what you would have, it's tough. It's tough. But you got a championship without him.
Without Kevin Durant? Yes. Yeah. That was a perfect storm. Like that feels, to replicate what they did last year feels like a stretch right now. And they could totally prove me wrong and prove everyone wrong. I'm working off the hypotheticals right now. They're not going to win it all. Now what do you do? What do you want to have happen? Like, I just, the Draymond thing, everyone, no one's going to sign Draymond. People will sign Draymond.
People will. Because,
Russell Westbrook is still being acquired and bandied about by how many teams right now?
And I think Draymond did himself a favor. He has continued to do himself a favor this season in, Steph Curry being out and Draymond's numbers in terms of what Draymond does, not really depreciating and in some ways being better. You're still going to get the assists. You're still going to get him on defense. All of the stuff that people say, well, who was it? Somebody in the offseason, no, it was Kendrick Perkins or somebody said, well, I'd have the same amount of assists as Draymond if I got to play. Now, maybe some of them, yes, but let's not sleep on Draymond's ability to assist. But I do think that has been the holdback with Draymond. Okay, or the cause to pause. Well, you have Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, which I think is true. But this year, Draymond has had a lesser version of Klay Thompson. Steph has been injured a lot, and he's still been doing his thing. So that's why I think other teams are looking at Draymond maybe differently than they did when they were rocking and rolling with KD.
Xfinity mobile text line, crazy hypothetical, offseason, if they lose or for whatever reason don't make it to the playoffs, you blow it up and reload. Trade Wiggs, JP, Clay for Book and Ayton and a first-round pick. I don't think the Suns are doing that.
No.
I don't think the Suns are doing that. I think they're keeping Book and Ayton, and I don't know if you'd get a first round. But I think you're the one giving up a first round pick.
And what if the Suns win it all?
Booker's the best player on that trade. What's that?
What if the Suns win it all? They're not. They would never let go of those guys.
No, it doesn't make any sense. So like Spadoni, you're the outside influencer. You're not a Warrior fan. You're a Laker fan. You listen to us every single day, bandy this about. And we're going to do shameless shout outs in a second here. Like when you hear Warrior fans, we're going to win it all. Let's say they don't win it all. You're not a Warrior fan. There's not an emotional attachment the way there is with Warrior fans, which is totally reasonable. I have attachments to players. Like I just told you, I can't get rid of Debo no matter what because I love Debo. What do you think the Warriors do if they don't win it all?
I think Draymond's gone.
For sure,
For
right?
sure, he's gone. And then after that, and I think Draymond is the guy that stirs the drink, whether we like to admit it or not. I don't think they're the same team without him. I don't know if you can ever replace a Draymond Green. I mean, this guy's a Hall of Famer. What he does, you cannot quantify. I mean, he's a hell of a defensive player. And the problem that's plagued this team all year is defense. Do they get someone that's comparable to him?
No.
Do they ask Klay Thompson, another year older? Curry, another year older? They need to get a star, but can they?
Look,
Like, that's the thing. Like, can this team attract a star? LA, New York, Miami, we know they can attract stars. The problem here, 49ers, at least they do it. Giants, you're seeing them have problems. Can Joe Lacob land another big fish? Because that's the next step to me.
I'm going to tell you right now.
They can't develop it.
They can't develop it. Somebody will always want to play with Steph. Now, if we're talking post-Steph, I have no clue. But I'm not worried about the Warriors getting a free agent if they have money, as long as number 30 is playing for the Warriors.
I'm with you on that one. Stars always want to align up with other stars. I kind of lean in your direction. That being said, your moves are limited because of your financial restrictions.
No, they are.
So there's only a couple of players that you could trade for said, to acquire a superstar, you have to give up that amount of money because they're so over the luxury tax.
Look, talking about Draymond moving on, I know nobody does what Draymond does. Look, a little birdie told me Grant Williams wants some more playing time.
I like Grant Williams. He's not in the.
He's not in the stratosphere.
Like, come on, that's not fair.
But it's similar. It's similar to the Debo conversation. Once Draymond leaves, you're not gonna find another Draymond.
No.
So it's gonna have to be Draymond by committee. Maybe Grant Williams does some of what Draymond does.
I was gonna
somebody
say
else does another piece of it.
They changed their ethos as a team.
Yeah.
Meaning you're just going to have to be a run and gun team and not be a team that has that defensive
Mike D'Antoni type team.
Exactly.
Just go that way.
Exactly. Especially with
their
Steph
defense
aging.
already stinks.
I know. Well, maybe you just go all in on offense. I don't know. Like right now, you have two defensive players in the lineup who don't score at all. Looney and Dre, right? Like that's what you are. Maybe you just go five guys that gun. Now, I don't think that's a great brand of basketball, but that might be their only option.